stabbed to death. His eyes were cut out in what county police say was a satanic. Kasso was a dropout, a drifter, and a drug user and dealer. He had a fascination with the devil. Police Chief Robert House doesn't believe it.
I don't believe there was cultists. 2 or 3 people who walked around with satanic literature.
Cow Harbor Park, the words that said Acid King.
Fires and held satanic rituals around. That wasn't true.
17-year-old Gary Lauwers was stabbed to death. His eyes were cut out in what county police say was a satanic, ritualistic killing.
On March 29, 1967, Richard Allen Kasso was born in Huntington, Long Island, New York. His mother was a high school teacher. His father, a gym teacher for the local nearby school district of Cold Spring Harbor. Nicknamed Ricky, Ricky would meet up often with local stoners in 7th grade for after-school football. There, he met James Soriano, juvenile delinquent, who's admittedly been in probation for burglary in the third. Ricky would frequently talk of his hatred of football, a resentment due to overwhelming pressure from his father. As young teens, Ricky and James would often take fishing trips to upstate New York, alone, Saratoga, where Ricky's parents owned property and a summer cabin. There, they would hallucinate, all the while fishing. April 1983, Ricky and a group of his friends got together to dig up an old 19th century grave. Name on the grave? Joseph Morel. However, this was not the first attempt by an acid-fueled team. October 1983, Ricky was captured and arrested for both incidents via Detective Varley for an incident in a mausoleum and a stolen skull and a hand. After a probation violation, James Soriano was sentenced to a 10-month jail sentence. He was released June 17, 1984. 2 days later, on June 19, 1984, James would meet up with Ricky, 17-year-old Gary Lauwers, and a 40. The initial plan was to lure Gary Lauwers into a wooded area and confront him about money that was owed from the past. Some people may say it was an acid deal gone wrong. Others say it was angel dust that was picked from Ricky Kasso's pocket by Gary Lauwers himself. The truth remains to be debated. The three teens were successful in luring Gary Lauwers into the woods of Northport, New York. Together, all four teens had took about 10 tabs of acid and ingested multiple bags of angel dust apiece. It was then and there that Ricky Kasso had pulled out a knife and stabbed 17-year-old Gary Lauwers over 30 times. Then he gouged out Gary Lauwers' eyeballs. All the while, he was screaming at Gary Lauwers to repeat, "I love Satan." Gary Lauwers' response, "I love my mother." Gary Lauwers had died. For 2 weeks, the body of Gary Lauwers lay dead, rotting, mutilated by wildlife animals. Ricky and James attempted to move the body of Gary Lauwers into a shallow grave. In the process, Gary's head fell off. Their attempt to keep this heinous murder a hush is falling through the cracks. As Ricky Kasso and James Soriano continuously brought nearby high school students from Northport High School to Northport, New York, the woods, where Gary Lauwers would stab to death. They would continuously show the bodies to random teenagers. Word quickly spread of what was happening. Gary Lauwers, mind you, was missing for 2 weeks. Responding to tips from a female Northport High School student, detectives and local police officers discovered the body of Gary Lauwers, brutalized, mutilated, in the woods of Northport Village. Ricky and James were captured July 5th, 1984. They were sleeping off 4th of July all-night acid trip just hours earlier. They were captured in their car in an abandoned parking lot. During interrogation, James Soriano and Ricky Kasso made no bones about what they had done to the body of Gary Lauwers. Just 2 days later, July 7th, 1984, Ricky Kasso at Riverhead Correctional Facility was dead. He hanged himself. Join us next week, July 11th, 2021, as we take a look into the trial of James Soriano, a third witness, and what exactly gave Ricky Kasso the nickname Acid King. All this and more. Part 2, Acid King Ricky Kasso. Please subscribe, share, like, comment. Thank you for watching. Part 2 next Sunday.